Hey everybody, it's Davey J with Central Track again. This is the group I was following last night. We are currently at McKinney and Pearl, and we are walking down McKinney. Last night we took routes through Uptown and ended back up at City Hall. It seems like that's what we're doing again tonight. Pretty good, man. So for those watching, we were just at Pearl and McKinney. We are walking down McKinney. I'm Davey J with Central Track. This is the group I was following last night. Our route went from City Hall to DPD, then from DPD through Uptown, which seems to be what we're doing right now. We're now at McKinney and Maple Con. One thing that was adamant at this group last night was to make sure that they occupy both sides of the streets, which is what we're doing now. We're from one side of the street to the other. There is a chopper following us. I do not know whether it's a news chopper or a police chopper. Here's, you get eyes of how big this group is today. I recognize a lot of the same people from last night.
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one?
We are approaching Fairmount. So they're yelling out right now, defund DPD. There was a councilman at a protest meeting I was at earlier today. He said there is today an announcement supposed to go out about the budget. Our city hall is going to propose a budget that talks about what funding is for organizations are going to be for the next coming year, the next fiscal year, I take it. I assume it has something to do with the defund DPD movement that started. For those who don't know what that is, that's calling for defunding the police, allocating more money from the police to social programs and organizations that could help reduce crime or strengthen the community. I believe John Oliver had he did a YouTube video, or his last week tonight just did a whole episode on defunding the police. So if you're interested in what that looks like, you can check that out. I'm not well versed enough in the defund police movement, other than I know they want to reallocate funds to other programs and not have solely be on the police. So they're chanting "fuck 12" right now. I believe the etymology of the term is 12 is an old reference to a specific narcotics unit. I couldn't tell you what era it comes from, but through pop culture and whatnot, 12 has now just become synonymous with the police in general. Now they're yelling "Black Lives Matter," "Blue Lives Murder." I've also heard the refrain "Blue Lives Never." Another one that I heard last night from this group was "We Are the Revolution." Shout out to Prince. Then again, guys, you see it on my coverage on the protest so far. Something I still notice: you see a lot of different colors, different races, different ethnicities. Now they're yelling the "All lives matter, don't matter" till "Black Lives Matter," using the idea that if you are all lives matter, you should be about Black Lives Matter, and therefore all lives matter cannot be logically true until Black Lives Matter as well. At least that's my interpretation on it. For those of you watching, I can't see comments. Either I have that setting messed up on my phone, or that's just how FB Live works. But I will do my best to provide you a running commentary on where we're at and what chants. So they're yelling "Without that badge, you a bitch and a half," indicating that the badge is the only thing giving them power, and without the badge in front of them or on them, they are powerless. We are currently now at McKinney and Bowl. I thought that was Boyle, but I really couldn't believe there'd be a Boyle Street. In front of these restaurants, that gives you a better indicator.
Black Lives Matter! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one?
When I say we hold you accountable, we hold
you accountable.
We hold
You accountable.
Now they're yelling "We hold you accountable,"
You accountable.
in reference to
You accountable.
making sure police are accountable and are indicted or jailed, convicted of the various police brutality that has been filmed and seen leading up to these moments and in this past week since the protests have started here and across the country.
Black lives matter! No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No racist!
Police!
No justice!
So this is no justice, no peace, and then they've added a different one, no justice, no peace, no racist police.
I can't breathe!
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 All the loyal black people out there, let's hear you. They can't breathe!
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 Take your knee! Take your knee!
Well, they're yelling, take your knee off my neck, in reference, of course, to the cop who putting his knee on George Floyd's neck, and some of the other incidences that have been captured across the country in the past week, 2 weeks.
ACAB abolish the police!
So ACAB abolished the police, I explained before, but for those of you who are not sure, ACAB stands for all cops are bad, or all cops are bastards, in reference to the fact that if you have a fundamental belief that the policing in this country is fundamentally unjust due to its history, its current actions and policies, that there's no such thing as a good cop if you are currently participating in a unjust and unfair system. So this group is really active on preventing movement. They're going to shut down this intersection right here. So in the intersection, this group has been blocking off all the exits and entrances to this intersection, or any intersection.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! If we don't have it, shut it down. If we don't get 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 it, shut it down.
Whose streets our streets refer to? I guess you could think of it multiple ways. If you're marching, who owns the streets right now? The people on it. Or in reference to, if you live in the community, that the streets are equally as yours as anyone else's. So they are shutting down the intersection by occupying it, covering all the entranceways, stopping the flow of traffic. Here is the traffic behind us building up. We are now moving. We are at McKinney and Allen Street, and we are moving further down McKinney. Something I've noticed, I'm sure you have as well if you've been out to these protests. You have people who are either can't protest in their cars or patrons at local establishments who will sometimes run out and show their support either by yelling the current slogan, raising their fists in the air. And what's been more common is that you'll run across cars who seem to have ready-made signs and they just yank them out, push them out the window when a march gets close to them. Hang out defund DPD again. Central Track has something up about the amount of money DPD gets versus other organizations or not organizations, yeah, or the organizations about the city government. I advise you to check that out. You can get a good grasp on, a better grasp on when people say defund DPD, the amount of money DPD gets. I would tell it to you, but I don't know it offhand, but it is on Central Track. We're coming up on Oak Grove right now. Oak Grove and McKinney. You have groups taking both sides. If we don't get it, shut it down. Of course, in reference to shutting down infrastructure or the movement of on roads and or other buildings or objects that the march feels is necessary. Currently at the back of the group. It's probably like 20, 30-ish behind me. There's, I would say about 90% of the group is in front of me. Another popular chant, hands up, don't shoot, in reference to unarmed black women, black men, black trans, black queer who've been gunned down despite being unarmed or while holding that up. Coming up on the Wick Phillips building, guys. McKinney and Sneed is where we're at right now. Walking further down McKinney. Get a little bit closer, guys. Slow down. Something also is sometimes marches are fast.
We're about to cut off this intersection where they are. We're gonna take a whole break right there. Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives Matter!
Gentleman over here on the left, it's not with the protest, but he's taking a knee in solidarity.
No peace! No peace!
Fist raised in the air.
No peace! No peace! No peace! Fuck these racist police! 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 Fuck these racist police!
The goal, from what I can surmise, of marching through the town is, while people are so actively out and about, make sure they're heard.
Our lives can't matter to what?
Black Lives Matter!
Our lives can't matter to what?
Black Lives Matter!
We're at Bowen and McKinney. Bowen and McKinney, and this is the intersection they're going to hold.
If you got extra water bottles, don't be afraid to share. We all gonna need them, and we all in this together. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Whole streets, our streets, whole streets, our streets, whole streets, our streets. to the fire. We cannot let this movement die. We cannot just repost a hashtag for a few days and then sit back down. We are out here to show another demonstration of another city that is tired. Okay? It is so much more than just inconveniencing people. Because when we say no justice, no peace, she said it best last night. It is waking people up from their beauty sleep. It is disturbing people's dinner. Okay? Because we are out here being heard. We are out here showing that we are tired. Dallas is tired. So when I say no justice, no peace, this is what I mean. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. We mean that shit. Alright guys, come on, get together, let's go, let's do this shit.
So pretty much explains the intentions of this protest march by these organizers. I don't think I could have said it better myself.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter!
Whose street?
Our street! Our street!
Whose street?
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 Our street!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace! Fuck these racist police! No peace! Fuck these racist police!
We are coming up on Hall,
Fuck these racist police! No peace!
passing South Paul's Uptown Tower.
No peace! Fuck these racist police! No peace! Fuck these racist police!
Seems they're instituting intersection holdings as also breakpoints. Right now, if you're interested in what the weather, it's pretty weird. We've been in shade for a lot of the day. There's a nice cool breeze. There's another gentleman kneeling in solidarity.
No peace! Fuck these racist police! No peace! Fuck these racist police! No peace! Fuck these racist police!
Hall and McKinney. We are crossing Hall and
Fuck
McKinney.
these racist police!
Breadwinner's is to my left.
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor!
The temperature is cool. It's actually quite refreshing right now, guys. Yesterday was pretty sweltering as well, but today it's pretty good.
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
We don't get it.
Shut it down!
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 Whose street?
Our street!
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 Our lives matter than what?
Black lives matter!
Our lives matter than what?
Black lives matter!
Our lives matter than what?
Black lives matter!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
People watching over to the side.
No racist.
Police!
Take your knee.
Off my neck!
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 Take your
patrons over there extremely excited about this protest.
Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
We're about to hit Lemon and McKinney. Lemon and McKinney.
Say his name!
George Floyd!
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 Say her name!
Breonna Taylor!
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 Now say their name!
Which one?
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 Black Lives Matter!
Black lives
There's a
matter!
cop at the corner over there.
Black lives matter!
That shit down! Black Lives Matter!
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 Okay. I just didn't want any of y'all to hear.
So I was out here with this group yesterday, following them. Cops, when we went under that next to Perot, they blocked entrances onto the highway. We can only surmise because they didn't want us to get on the highway and have a repeat of 2 Mondays ago. To my knowledge, that hasn't been the goal of this protest or the organizers. They seem to be walking through uptown and other populated areas and holding intersections. We took a ride up there at Lemon, guys. We were just at McKinney and Lemon, heading down McKinney through uptown. And we're taking a right on Lemon. This group is a little for those of you unaware, Donald Trump will be in town for a fundraiser on Thursday. I believe it's $580,000 a plate. One has to wonder what is going to be planned or the amount of people showing up on Thursday. Of course, the location of the fundraiser is private. It's not a stump speech. As far as I'm aware, it's not a campaign speech. It is a private fundraiser. Yesterday, when we were near the Ritz, there was a gentleman who stepped outside his SUV with no ID, had a plate carrier on. He didn't have his weapon on him, or at least not his main weapon. I'm sure he had a pistol. But you have to think that, or realize, Secret Service is already down here and scoping out routes, vantage spots, things of that nature. With the President of the United States is going to be here in 2 days. And they certainly aren't waiting to prep it the day before. So we were at Oak Grove and Lemon, took Lemon to Oak Grove, and we took a right on Oak Grove. We're now heading down Oak Grove. And again, guys, I'm Davey J with Central Track. If you support this type of content, support the coverage we've been providing for you, make sure you visit or subscribe to the Central Track Patreon. Information is on the Central Track site, the Central Track Facebook page. But if you enjoy what you're seeing and you'd like to support us, make sure you check that out. I think the movement towards protests later in the day is just the harsh reality of the sun. We know it's going to hit triple digits sooner or later if it already hasn't, and taking that into account is a real factor for organizers and people marching. Well, I'm sure there will be certain protests that are during the thick of the day. From what I've seen for ones upcoming, or the ones that I glanced over, they've led towards later in the evening. which makes sense. Heat exhaustion is going to be something that people are going to have to deal with and have already been dealing with. But the availability of water and the willingness of protesters to share goods and supplies with each other at a moment's notice has helped to mitigate that, at least the ones I have been involved with. Not to say that people didn't possibly experience heat exhaustion, but I haven't seen any severe cases myself. We are now back at Hall on Oak Grove, so we're running parallel down McKinney in the opposite direction we were marching up. I believe we're going to, I believe they are, oh, nope, thought they were going to take this one.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Breeze is quite refreshing.
No peace!
Weather doesn't seem to be impacting us much today.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe!
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe!
I can't breathe.
I
Get a little closer, guys.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe!
All life can't matter to what?
Black lives matter!
All life can't matter to what?
Black lives matter!
All life can't matter to what?
Black lives matter!
I can't like you need it. All life can't matter to what?
Black lives matter!
Need fun, DPD.
Need fun, DPD!
Need fun, DPD.
Need fun, DPD!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
Police!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
whole street, whole street,
Our streets!
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 whole street.
Our streets!
Say his name.
George Floyd!
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 Say her name.
Breonna Taylor!
Say her name.
Breonna Taylor!
Say her name.
Breonna Taylor!
Now say their name.
Please one!
Now say their name.
Please one!
Now say their name.
Please one!
Now say their name.
Oh, it's another one that if you haven't heard before, it's now say their names. And your response is which ones, indicating the massive amount of incidents of police brutality that it numbers so greatly, it is hard to remember which one you're actually talking about. The call was to tighten up. As you can tell, some people really get marching. Spreads out. Theory seems to be that if your protest is loosened up like that, it is easier for it to be split up and or divided, and you lose potency. So every so often, if you've got aware organizers, you'll have them aware of where their back is in reference to the front, and asking people to slow down so the group can, as they said, tighten up. Yet again, more honks and solidarity. Always a welcome spirit for protesters. Tends to give more energy, gets them more hype up. Lets them know that people around them are actually listening to them, which is the goal for marches, and seems to be a very pertinent goal for this particular march.
Black Lives Matter!
coming back up on McKinney.
Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one?
Oh, so you heard the call. Protesters are going to shut down this intersection. Oh, you see a gentleman with a bike over there?
Shut it down!
So I think I've seen folks who are on bikes
Shut it down!
do specifically put themselves in the way.
Black lives
See, it's a bigger surface area, or I don't even know if that's the right way. Yeah, bigger surface area they're covering. So this group will fan out and cover all the entrances and exits from this intersection.
Oh, this feels so good.
We hold it down.
Hey, come over here. Right there.
All right. Does anyone have something to say? Move some more around. Y'all look a little tired.
I love you.
Love you too.
All right, guys, I want to take this time to drink some water.
All right.
Keep a hand on the middle. Excuse me.
We mean that the system that police are forced to enforce is systematically racist. Even if every single cop in the system was anti-racist, the system itself is still racist. And that is why we're out here marching today, to change the system.
Right.
We're not out here because we're just mad at individuals. We're mad at the system itself. The system that this country was built on was built to keep minorities down, and we're out here because we want that to change.
Right.
So when we say HC, abolish the police, we're talking about the very system, okay? The very system.
See, traffic is piling up on one side. You'll see constant people who do U-turns to turn.
My dad is super racist. I'm born and raised that way. I refuse to get at his level. He has blocked me on Facebook. He thinks I don't have a voice. I shouldn't be doing this thing. Let me tell you, my son is the reason I'm doing this. He is mixed. And I refuse. I feel the kids get bullied by the cops. That's bullshit. They are living their lives. They are having fun. They are walking around with water guns and getting fucking tased. That's bullshit. 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 Black lives matter. 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 Thank you.
So the lady mentioned that her father's racist, was blocked her on Facebook, but she shouldn't be out here, according to her father. But her son is mixed, and that is her impetus to be out here for these protests and police brutality. She feels for the world her son will grow up in.
Like I said, they can't wait. They cannot wait. We need all this shit to stop. All that shit needs to stop. Ain't no cops good until they all.
We're in McKinney and Oak Grove right now. McKinney and Oak Grove.
Let the so-called good cops facilitate this bullshit. And the bad cops do this bullshit.
Throw the whole fucking tree away.
Woo! We can't have this shit. We cannot have our children raised in this. We need better. Yes. We need better for us. Yes. We need better for them. Yes. The whole
both kids. We gotta vote. Vote the motherfuckers out of office. Vote be part of it. Group economics. Right.
We need to go where there is traffic.
We're going towards DPD.
DPD.
That's where we're...
All right, let's gather together. Let's go, guys.
You just heard it, guys. The march is now heading towards DPD. We are currently in Uptown. That gentleman at the truck over there was pounding the top of his roof in solidarity. We've got another car up here honking in solidarity. I'm gonna wait up, guys. Let it get a little further ahead of me.
Y'all work at McDonald's? Nah, we be working at City Hall. We gotta do with the games.
We all need to stay hydrated.
See, that gentleman just reached out his apartment to yell Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter! 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 Food streets! Food streets! Our streets! Food streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Food streets! Our streets! Food streets! Our streets! Food streets! Our streets! Food streets! Our streets! But I say, baby, you tell me. Hey, y'all see this trolley right there? Y'all make way for this trolley. Do not fuck with the train. You will cut your legs or something off. Now,
Push you out the way. DPD! 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 Black Lives Matter!
We're coming back down McKinney.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! Police! No peace! Police!
See people.
Break the track, police!
Fucking racist police! Fucking racist police! Fuck 12! Fuck 12! Fuck 12! Fuck 12!
We're at Worthington.
No peace!
Worthington and McKinney.
No peace! DPD! DPD! DPD!
Passing Tate's. Lover's Egg Roll.
Our street! Our street!
Monty.
Our street! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Moved up a little bit, guys. Another chanting, bitch, I belong here.
Hands up!
See that gentleman there? Seen so far, multiple ways people on the street have shown solidarity. One must be common today is people taking knees as the march comes bound. We're passing Blackfriar right now. Cutting through some trees, guys. So you've heard what has been adopted is black men matter, black women matter, black trans matter, and black gays matter. Black children matter, spanning the whole spectrum of black bodies. And given that it's Pride Month, you've heard a lot more chants that have included the LGBTQIA community. Chanting Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Murder. Seem to hit a critical mass of honking here. Heard the calls for shut it down. I believe they might shut down this intersection. We are at McKinney, Route Central and Maple, which we were passing earlier. So they have.
Fill in the gaps. Don't be on the sidewalk.
It's the traffic that
The
is.
police took off.
Water, anyone? Water?
We are at this intersection right now. McKinney,
We are more than the police.
Rosecon Maple.
We are more than the police. Let that shit sink in. There are more people than police. So we come together for unity, for equity, for equality.
Thank you.
We get shit done.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Without that badge!
You a bitch and a half.
Say fuck, you say fuck, fuck!
Fuck.
Fuck!
Fuck.
Fuck!
Fuck.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Fuck. 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 Fuck.
Who's straight?
Our street.
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 What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it?
Shut it down.
And if we don't get it?
This lady is a
Shut it
stop.
down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
We'll give you get 1 second, baby.
So they just got out of her car.
Take the peace. We got you. Black lives matter. 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 Black lives matter.
Anybody else want to come up and say anything? We're gonna hold this one down for a minute. Let us hear what you have to say.
It's been pretty open forum at certain places, allowing people to speak. My personal opinion on the benefits is you really enforce how this is all togetherness, unity. Cons that I've seen at other protests is certain times people have gone up there and said something that didn't necessarily agree with the movement or was more self-centered. The ones I've seen today and yesterday, a lot of personal testimony and calls for action.
Fuck the police! Fuck the police! What's his name? George Floyd! What's
is off again. We're continuing down McKinney. McKinney down. Organizers making sure the group stays tight.
Wait.
All together.
All right, let's go.
Together we're stronger.
Together we are strong.
Together
We are united.
So we're walking down McKinney towards Pearl. McKinney towards Pearl. This has been MO for this protest. Walk through heavily populated areas, hold intersections, allow people to speak. Organizers will hype the crowd up. And depending on how long they want to hold, they'll hold a little longer or make movements.
United will never be defeated. United will never be defeated. United will never be defeated.
Don't touch the car. Do not touch the car. Hey, let's go. Keep it peaceful, leader.
Get a little closer, guys.
Keep the peace. Come
Seems there was a altercation with that car. Either he
Don't feed into it. That's what they want.
You heard multiple cries from organizers to stop touching the car. Whoa.
ACAB abolish the police. ACAB abolish the police. ACAB abolish the police. ACAB abolish the police. Fuck these racist ass police. Fuck these racist ass police. Fuck these racist ass police. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police.
Y'all slow down. Slow down up there. I know y'all are happy. Y'all got
Together, everyone.
Another call for the group to slow down up front so the people in the back can catch up. An important skill for organizers. Maintain group cohesion. Don't let groups get separated. You've heard we're stronger in numbers. We're at McKinney and Olive right now. McKinney and Olive.
Off my neck! Off my neck! George Floyd! George Floyd!
Which ones? Which ones? Which ones?
Stay there, Dad.
Which ones? Hands up! Don't shoot! 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 I can't breathe! 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 I hear that echo, it's beautiful. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice!
We're off Harwood and McKinney.
Now! What do we want? Justice!
Harwood,
What do we want it?
Right fucking McKinney.
now!
You have Union Tower in the background. One thing you're really struck by, as well as being on the march, is what the lockdown for COVID has done. See a lot of places that haven't opened yet, a lot of places that are at limited capacity, depending on the phase we're in. Some really striking imagery out here, guys. While we're down McKinney, we did have walk by establishments that were open.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! No justice! No peace! No righteousness! Police! 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 No justice!
Given how loud this chants has been, and the fact that we are moving fairly quickly, guys, I think I'm gonna try and snag some interviews with people towards the end. It'll be easier to hear, more effective, and we won't get lost by the group. We are now at McKinney and St. Paul. McKinney and St. Paul.
Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD!
We're now at
ACAB abolish the police! 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 Without that badge! Without that badge! You will get your head!
there are cops. They are blocking the entrance to the highway. I think they definitely don't want to repeat. Ackerd and McKinney. We took a left on Ackerd. We're about to go back over 35. They've chosen defund DPD since we were specifically going over cops for maximum effect.
Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD! Defund DPD!
See, they've blocked the entrance to the highway. So Sitch said they don't want a repeat of 2 Mondays ago.
Abolish the police! ACAB, abolish the police! ACAB, abolish the police! Without that badge! You're a bitch and a half! You're a bitch and a half!
Walking right over 35 right now, guys. Pro Museum is behind me and to the right.
You're a bitch and a half! 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 You're a bitch and a half!
Further cops down there.
You're a bitch and a half! You're a bitch and a half! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Now we have crossed over 35.
Shut it down!
Back to this side of town.
Shut it down! Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street!
I'll probably go back over my chant explanations, guys. For those of you who are still unsure or may have just joined.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives fucking matter!
So, hands up, don't shoot. Reference to unarmed victims of police brutality. Still getting shot or murdered in situations where they were unarmed. We are at Ackerd and Munger. Ackerd, North Ackerd, and Munger Street. Now say their names, which ones. The refrain in response to how many victims of police brutality there have been and how hard it is to remember or keep track of which one you are specifically talking about. A way to acknowledge all the victims so far, other than the main focus, which has been George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. We are the revolution. I think that was pretty self-explanatory.
Brick by brick, wall by wall, we will make the system fall.
Brick by brick, wall by wall, we will make the system fall. Encouraging and letting those that be know they will look at will dismantle it, knowing that it is a systemic problem, one that cannot be purely fixed by one action here or there.
We will make the system fall.
Something else to pick up is if a chant stops, somebody else might pick it back up. It's very free form. The people with loudspeakers have generally been leading it because of voice amplification. Maybe a solid 100 to 150 in that range, I would guess. As I've said before, I'm pretty trash at estimating numbers, but I think that's a safe guess. We are at Ackerd and Ross.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Take your knee off my neck, in reference, of course, to the officer placing his knee on George Floyd's neck.
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
The most classic refrain.
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want justice? When do we want it? Now.
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
We're coming up
Get
hand.
it?
Shut it down!
We don't get it?
Second part is, if we don't get it, shut it down. Reference to infrastructure holding, and specifically on this protest, holding intersections.
I can't breathe!
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 I'm gonna let them get a little bit ahead of me, guys. Y'all.
I can't breathe!
I can't breathe!
I can't breathe!
I can't breathe!
I don't know if y'all saw what George Floyd's daughter said, but we're gonna make it a chant. So when I say my daddy changed the world, I want to hear you say it after me. My daddy changed the world!
My daddy changed the world!
My daddy
So I haven't heard this one yet, but I did see the video
Changed the world!
during sometime in Minneapolis this week. George Floyd's daughter was on, I believe, George Floyd's brother's, like on his head. She's super young, and she said, "My daddy changed the world," which it's got to be a pretty powerful thing to realize, or even begin to think about at how old she is. I would say, I think she's under 5, maybe under 8. And to think about the fact, I don't know, it's got to be such a bittersweet experience for that child to not have her father anymore, but to hear people all around the world chant his name. That's, I don't know, think about that for a second, y'all. That's got to be just bittersweet. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up about it myself. We are now at Ackerd and Patterson. Yeah, Ackerd and Patterson, moving down Patterson. So I was thinking the goal is to march to DPD as well. And the next part I'm speculating, I speculate after DPD they'll do a return to City Hall. But the organizers of this protest seem to be pretty hype. They might march longer, they might march further. But you've seen these ad hoc, I keep using that word a lot, but that's really what it is. All these ad hoc organic movements or organizations start up. Usually at the end of one protest, you'll have a bunch of people meeting, still hanging out, exchange information, network. And if there isn't anything planned for the next day or you don't know about it, generally the next question is like, what are we doing tomorrow? And then from there you have a organic group form out of previous protests. And this one specifically, as I said, I was with this one last night, so that would make that Monday. And yesterday it was formed after the march on Sunday. The one that, if I'm not mistaken, started at Deep Ellum Brewery, went to Fair Park, and then I saw streams of it since I was not out that night, that it continued to about 10:30-ish, later than usual. Given the curfew not being enforced or being uplifted, that's not the right word, upended. So you have more people marching later. Heck, you have people marching later just in general. We are hitting Ackerd and Pacific. Ackerd and Pacific. This gentleman is carrying a 32-pack of water. I saw a lot of that the first 2 days. Looks like he's a medic as well. Something you'll see often. people who've designated themselves as medics, either with clear signage that they are a medic, red cross insignias or logos, and it's hard to believe, or you don't know if there's like a medic group that's actually organizing stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but a lot of times you see people just show up and willing to help. And that's been pretty interesting. A lot of command infrastructure, certain support roles have popped up on their own. And once people see others doing it, I believe from there, people link up and try to organize or schedule where and when they're going to be at. But to think that there's some master group doing all this, I think would be foolhardy. It's been, like the great Bruce Lee said, be like water. And that's what protests have been since this started. Multiple groups doing multiple things in multiple parts of the city. If one finishes early, they might coalesce with another one, or they might not. I'm starting to see more goggles out. People having goggles available, or at least in their back pocket, prepared for any projectiles launched by police if there's a confrontation or it escalates. We're marching down Akron, guys. Looks like this is the next intersection they are seizing. Main and Akron. This truck tried to get past it. This truck got through the intersection, cut through. This guy cut right through here, all the way through here. I would say dangerously close to protesters. He saw a way to get through and he took it. And he pulled up and stopped right there. I'm gonna scoot up closer. Keep a safe distance, but people. Catch any of the words, guys, but there was an altercation there. The worrying thing is that usually when if somebody tries to get through and darts back through, if they dart back through the protesters, they usually keep going, but that gentleman stopped, and I'm sure a lot of people got worried about that. We're at Main and Akron right now. Main and Akron.
Hey, a black man is trying to make his money out here. I'm trying to get paid. I gotta go to work. Please let me through. Let me through. It ain't no other way. It's not no other way. If you guys are doing this, what y'all doing, it's not going to serve anything to anybody.
This gentleman just got out of his car, took one of the loudspeakers to...
No peace! No peace! No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice!
Let me through.
No peace! No justice!
This guy just walked up and took the loudspeaker.
Let me through. Hey, let me through. Let me through. No. Let me through. Let me go. Let me go right here.
If you don't respect
I'll crush this motherfucker. Let me through. 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 Wanna let me in? I'm black, so you not out here for me. You're out here for you. So let me through. Let me through. Let me through. Let me through. Okay. Hey, okay. Get in your car again. Get in your car. Hey, let it through. Let it through. Hey, you want to go through? Go through. You want to go through? Go through.
So Dave agree. John.
Hold on, let me take care of this.
We'll never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Pay attention to him. That's what he wants. Do not pay attention to him. That's what he wants. There are other ways you can go.
So you see the multiple sides to this angle. That gentleman is very angry that he needs to get to work. He wants to be let through. Protesters are having a internal battle about what the right corrective action is.
He can be touched, gang. Goddamn right. You know I am. I'm trying.
He decided to reverse. Some protesters wanted to let him through, others didn't. I would surmise that letting him through kind of breaks the message. Others felt sympathy for him. He was also a black male. That's what he yelled. That's what he yelled to the people arguing with him, that he was black like they were. There you go with the trickiness of the conflicts that can arise with protests.
Which one? Which one? So fucking many. That's why we out here. That's why we out here.
You got somebody want to talk right now?
Sorry guys, I'm picking up my butt and throwing it away. Walk around and send guys trying to put my cigarette butt away. Yeah, John. Can you screw this back on? Screw it back. Yeah.
Trying to support us, and even the people that don't know they're supporting us. Alright? Yeah. Keep that shit going. But realize life is here. Don't meet people on the vibration that they at. Bring them to where you are.
Traffic is building up on Main.
Bring them up to you. That's why we're here. Anybody else got anything to say? Don't be scared, because we know everybody's got a story.
Alright, one thing. It is not enough. Yes, cannot be racist. You must be anti-racist. We must be anti-racist.
Some people looking out their windows out here.
Out here protesting in the streets, voting, talking to city council. They cannot wait. We need to do everything that we fucking can. Out these streets is just a part of it. We need to do everything we said, like I said. It is not just enough to be not racist. You have got to be anti-racist. You've got to be systematic injustice. You have got to be this system. This shit does not work for all of us. We need to make it work for all of us. That is why we put our feet on the ground. And we get to stay in this shit. We want everybody to believe this shit. Because it starts as words. And then it becomes action. It starts as words, and then it becomes action. If you believe it, then you do it. Am I right?
Yeah.
You believe this shit, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you do this shit to the full extent that you can. Whatever you do in conviction. We do this with all of our inner being. My ancestors speak through me. They tired of this shit.
Yes, ma'am.
For those just tuning in, we are in Main and Akron right now. We have seized this intersection. See there's people all around.
But I was here Friday night during the protest when the police chased us through the streets with tear gas and shot at me. I've got a fucking test on my goddamn head. Do I look like a threat to you? I got open fucking bottles on my head. Do I look like a fucking threat to you? No. Police brutality is here. We need to do something
I couldn't work. I couldn't pay rent. They closed the courts. They weren't supposed to evict anybody. They evicted me for 2 months. I've been fucking homeless because the cops came and they fucking took everything. For 2 months I've been sleeping in my car. So I'm out here with a fucking camera. So when they try to do that shit again to anyone else, I'm gonna have this fucking camera in their face and hold them fucking accountable. Hell yeah! Fucking CPD. We're talking about taking away their ability to handle mental health crises. We need social workers, not people with fucking guns.
It's pretty powerful. The last lady who spoke, she talked about how she got shot at with tear gas and projectiles by police. She had a cast on her arm, and she was talking about how she doesn't look like a threat. The gentleman who was just on with the camera, I've seen him out here multiple times, has talked about how he got evicted even though the courts were closed. The police took all his shit. He's going to be out here protesting despite that. Traffic on Main has grown. Each one of those spotlights or regular lights is a car. You'll see people turning around, and it is built up. On the other side of Ackerd, doesn't seem to be as much on actually Ackerd itself. There's a couple. There's a chopper up here. Should come in to zoom in again in a second right there. I can't tell if that is a police chopper or a news chopper, but we are still here at Main and Ackerd as we speak. So maybe it's not DPD.
Black lives matter! 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 I'm gonna say her name and you say Gotham King! Say her name! Gotham King! Say her name! Gotham King! Say his name! Gotham King! Say his name! Gotham King!
It's like, you know, Miss Ginger.
Tatiana Jefferson! Say her name! Tatiana Jefferson! Tatiana Jefferson!
Case in point about the say their name, whose names. Botham was sorry with you. There was wrong name, Miss Ginger. Which there's so many that people will forget specifics, correct names. It's kind of staggering to think about it. I'm showing Tamir Rice. If you don't remember, Tamir Rice was a 12 or 14-year-old black child who was murdered by police. I don't remember the case specifics myself, but I do know Tamir was young, very young. Eric Gardner, remember New York? He was selling Lucy's. Lucy's are single cigarettes, and that was illegal, and he got choked out, and he was the one who said, "I can't breathe," and I want to say that was the genesis of the "I can't breathe" slogan and or general knowledge. Now they're yelling Trayvon Martin. County Philando Castile school lunch worker who, when he reached for his gun, well, not reached for his gun, he reached for his license, and the officer shot him through the car window. He had carried, but he also had a license, concealed carry license, and was murdered right next to his fiancée. The gentleman standing on the car to get better pictures. Chopper is right over there. A moving light. We are now marching to City Hall. City Hall might be the end point. I know the original thought was DPD, Dallas Police Department HQ. It might have changed. It is considerably cooler out here. I was out here last night with this same group. It is cool. For the temperature supposed to drop down even further than that, but I can't confirm that. I remember hearing that last night, but we are now on Irvay, headed towards City Hall.
Are you the other one on Twitch?
No, I'm streaming on I'm streaming for Central Track.
Oh, you're Central Track.
Yes, sir. What's your name, brother?
I go by the Flutternator online.
Gotcha. I'm Davey J. I've been shooting for Central Track for the past week.
Well, here, folks. 2 streamers.
I know them. They're my fucking Koreans. Like, she walked over and
You said Fluffinator?
Flutternator.
Flutternator. Flutternator is that gentleman right there. He's also streaming. He's on Twitch.
That's Central Track. Yeah. And we're both on woke.
Yeah. I've seen that gentleman out here several days, different protests. It's good to know that other people in multiple angles, different people with the access and advent of mobile phone technology, increased cameras, better cameras, increased data capacity, unlimited data streaming plans. It allows anybody who allows people to just jump on and record and document stuff, which is something you'll see if there's any sort of confrontation with either police or a protester or something where there's words being exchanged. You'll see a lot of people just whip their cameras up. I'm gonna run a little bit closer, guys. We are on Irvay. Something you'll see is protesters using their bodies to block traffic while people are crossing. City Hall is right in front of us.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
There's a car right over here. Can't tell if that is an officer, just a person. Doesn't look like a cop car. See, City Hall's right here. We are within spitting distance, not to be taken literally. Just an old colloquialism. We're on Irvay. As before, we are crossing over Young right now, heading to City Hall. Officer has been maintaining, I don't know, I should say officer, I don't know what it is. That chopper up there has been maintaining a good, he's been hovering around this protest, I want to say damn near 100% of the time.
Oh, down here.
Some people are peeling off, believing the protest is done. Seems to me that is that's what's happening. I know there was a plan to go to DPD earlier. They might have shifted to City Hall based on how late it is. We will find out momentarily. That was.
Let's have that conversation for a minute, y'all. Look around you. Look around you. Look at the person next to you. Look at the person behind you.
All right, real quick, I'm sorry, this is an emergency. Someone dropped their driver's license. Richard Booth.
Richard Booth, you lost your license. Please.
Anybody here? Richard Booth. Okay.
This group is now at City Hall.
We're going to do this tomorrow at 6. Every day at 6.
Amen.
We're supposed to be in this place right here. These are our jobs in here, y'all. They talk about boosting our economy. That's how we boost it right there.
Yeah.
Okay? So, anybody got anything to say?
Yeah. Woo.
So I started talking earlier and y'all saw what happened. Anyway, so as I was saying, George Stinney Jr., the youngest person to be executed in the United States. He was 14 years old, 5 foot tall, like 90 pounds. He was wrongly convicted. It was South Carolina, 1944. They had a search party for 2 young white girls, and after they were found, George Stinney Jr. was part of the search party. He was trying to help the cause. He was trying to help find these girls. So to do that, he went up to the police and he told them that he had a conversation with them the day before, because he did. So that police officer and a couple others showed up to his house and arrested him and had him in a questioning room without his parents. As a 5 foot tall 14-year-old, obviously he's scared. So these police officers they're obviously not getting any answers out of this kid who did not commit this crime. So they're thinking, we're gonna get answers out of this kid one way or another. So they start telling him, hey, if you admit to this crime, we'll let you go. If you admit to this crime, we'll buy you ice cream and walk you out of here. So obviously, this scared, naive, 14-year-old boy is forced into a confession, which, by the way, was never recorded anyway. And that was what sentenced him in court to die in the electric chair. This 14-year-old boy, he had to sit on a stack of books in order to reach that metal cap. They had to tie the straps down instead of buckling them because his wrists were too small. That leather face covering fell off him as he was being electrocuted. The man pulling the switch he told the press later that he knew it was wrong. He told them. And then a prison mate that George Stinney Jr. had came forward later. He said that he was talking to him, and this little kid said, why would they kill me for something I didn't do? He was trying to help. 3 months after he was trying to help somebody, he died in that electric chair. 3 months. And for what? And then 70 years later, finally he was exonerated. But for those 70 years, in the state of the law, he was seen as a murderer for something he didn't do. So, when we test these 2 names, know that they are not the only 2. And I want you to go home and research George Stinney Jr. because I have to keep it short right here, but this is truly a tragic case, and I am appalled that it's not taught in schools because this is a landmark case. The youngest kid to ever be executed, and he was 14 years old. He didn't even do it. The reason he's sitting there is because of his race. That's the classic United States justice system for you. So I want you to go home, and I want you to research him, and I want you to say his name, George Stinney Jr. George Stinney Jr. George Stinney Jr. George Stinney Jr. But I want you to say his name, and I want you to mean it like he mattered. And when you say those 2 names, Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, know that they are not the only 2. they are not the only two people we're out here for.
That's right.
Black Lives Matter!
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 Black Lives Matter! Anybody else?
Oh, one thing that I was just looking up as well. 1967.
Ooh, come on with
Yep.
that.
They passed an immunity law for the police to come out here and basically kill black people and claim that they were doing it because they thought it was just. That is a Supreme Court passing, and it is just now under dispute. It is just now under dispute. You know how they came up with that? There was 2 black clergymen drinking at an Only White's fountain. How old is that? 2020. They just now thinking about this shit. 1967. An immunity law so that police can kill and claim that they were doing it in the best of the law.
Common killing.
So that they do not get sued. It is time for them to be held accountable. It is time for that law to be under scrutiny. We need this shit gone. We need the Supreme Court to look at these old laws. Get this shit out of here. We need the Senate full of 50-year-old men, 50 to 70-year-old men. That's why we keep reliving this shit. We need them out of here. We need them out of here. We need to vote for our Senate more than we vote for our president. We need to vote for who leads our state. We need to vote for who leads our Senate, our Supreme Court justice. We need to take control. It is time to take control of this shit and get these old people out of here, or we gonna keep reliving the same shit.
That's right.
Are you fucking serious, bro? That's the shit that we talking about right now.
Yo!
He stole his phone. He stole his phone, y'all. That's what we're dealing with, y'all. The media just took his phone.
Appears that 2 gentlemen taking off, the one in the lead had taken the second gentleman's phone. That's a damn shame.
Real quick, just so you know, we're all working together to make sure that we can do Juneteenth here. So just so you know, like, keep the word going between anybody that you're following who are always on the front lines at these events. Get with them, because we're going to be getting with all the leaders, so that way we can all come here and have a celebration for Juneteenth, because that's our holiday, right? Right, that's our holiday. So I'm telling you now, we're getting it worked out. We're getting the permits. I'm pretty sure by tomorrow we'll be able to come out here and let y'all know that it's a go-go. But I'm just letting you know, we're going to do Juneteenth right here where we've been meeting every day. Y'all know when Juneteenth is, right? Yes, ma'am. When is it? Juneteenth. Okay. We love y'all, and remember, if you guys don't know where to follow, I'm going to coordinate with these guys. So that way, just in case you guys are getting lost, that now my son knows their route, so we can tell you where to pull up so you can walk with them too, okay? We're all doing this together, baby. Nobody's being left behind. So remember, make sure you hashtag follow Not My Son on your social media, so that way y'all can get the updates on where the protests are. And y'all be safe tonight, okay?
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Before you leave,
Okay, everybody that wants to participate again, we'll be out here every night at 6 p.m. We're going to meet in the same spot that we did. If you see another group out here, you can look for me, Shima, or anybody else that you saw on the front lines. We'll be out here every night. Like I said, we'll be meeting over here in the grassy area, so there's shade. 6 p.m. is when we want everyone to meet. 6:30 is when we set out. If anybody wants the flyer sent to them, I can airdrop it to them so you guys can share it around and spread it to all your people.
All right, guys. That seems to be it. Let's see if I can talk to some people, get their thoughts, get their ideas on it. People are splitting, so let's see if I can grab real quick. Excuse me, guy. Were you marching with us today? Were you marching today? Do you mind if I ask you some questions on camera? I'm with Central Track. It's live.
Yeah, I caught it at the last minute, but
nice. All right, word. What's your name, brother? What brought you out here today, man?
well, you know, I was just been there for
How did you feel today's protest went?
no police and like this, so
Have you participated in a lot of the ones this week, or since you've been out here? How many times have you been out here?
probably about like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. What's something you've seen in the protest so far that gives you hope that something is going to change?
I mean, the fact that people just, you know, standing up and not being scared and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? And really just standing up for black people, you know, everything like that.
All right, is there anything you'd like to leave for the people of Dallas?
I mean, really just, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Don't change nothing. Stay positive, you know, and, you know, show love.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for your time, brother. All right, so you hear from that gentleman. He appreciates how peaceful it's been, how copacetic it's been. This has been out here. Love seeing people fight for the cause.
I wasn't able to hear that. I was like at the front, so I probably didn't hear that.
Excuse me, I'm with Central Track, and I'm on camera right now live, but I mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, what's up?
Sure. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Ashanti.
So if you guys don't know, she's been one of the ones on the loudspeaker leading chants and seems to be seen one of the organizers of today's march. When did you join this organization? I don't think there's a name yet for it, right?
No, not yet. We're still trying to get people together to come together for that one.
And then you were here yesterday, correct?
I wasn't here yesterday, but I was here the day before.
Sunday.
When we did the 6-hour march. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As someone who's taken charge and has been leading the loud chants, what's something that you're constantly thinking about while there's a group of people around you? How to keep them safe, how to keep stuff going? What are you thinking?
Definitely, I'm thinking first about their safety, how to make sure that they stay hydrated, because what we need is healthy people for the cause.
I've noticed.
So
go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I also want them to know what they are chanting for, what they are cheering for.
Yeah.
And I do everything to keep everyone's morale up.
I've noticed that yesterday, because I was a part of it yesterday, and today we specifically took routes through Uptown. What is the goal of that? Why Uptown?
The goal of Uptown is to basically alert people that are in their own comfort, that have found their safe place, to make sure that everybody else can also have peace. They are not the only ones that can have peace.
I heard you explain earlier at one of the intersection holdings about the different what no justice, no peace is, and about disturbing. Could you elaborate a little bit for the people who might not have seen it? Or
that no justice, no peace?
Well, how you don't want, if there's that us moving like this, and as we're moving like this means there's no peace. Could you elaborate on that for people who might not quite get what that means, or anybody who wasn't here today?
Okay, so no justice, no peace. It means as long as black people keep getting killed out in these streets, there will not be any peace. There cannot be peace and racism that exists at the same time. That cannot happen. You cannot be peaceful and racist. We want justice and peace. That's why we scream no justice, no peace.
What's your idea on, I see that yesterday and today there will be specific intersections that protesters will take and hold. What is the strategy behind that? What's the goal?
The goal behind taking and holding, for one, is to let people know that we are out here. We are out here, we will be heard. We are all as one as a people. So when we get out here and we hold these intersections, we want them to know that these killings, this 8 minutes that we sat here, this is how long George Floyd was saying that he can't breathe. Eric Gardner in the chokehold cannot breathe. No knock, search warrants, they cannot wait. We cannot have that. So we will be as inconvenient to them as racism is to us. They will know. They will not be able to sit here in their own peace and their own blindness.
What's something you've seen at the protests, either the ones you've been a part of directly, like yesterday and today, or any of the ones you've been in before? What's something you've seen that's given you hope that change is coming, that these protests are effective?
Every day that I look at the news, they are trying to enact some new law. I want that to keep up. I want that to keep going. This is not what happened. The riots, that is not the end. Our protests will keep going until black people receive all the rights that they deserve, until we are all equal, equity. That's what we want. We want employers to hire more black people in more higher places. We want people to get paid a living wage, what they deserve to be paid. We want black people to stop dying in these streets for no reason. It is not enough to just not die.
And then for lastly, could you just reintroduce yourself for the people who might have just joined in, and then leave, and something you'd like to leave for the people of Dallas?
All right, so my name's Ashanti, and what I would like to leave for the people of Dallas is that come with us, march. If you believe in the cause, if you want to stand up for people who have been discriminated against, please join us.
And the time is 6 p.m. here every day?
The time is 6 p.m. at City Hall. There are other groups that also get together here. So I will be here, or another person with a megaphone will be here, and they will lead you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, no problem. Thank you.
There you go, guys. Ashanti. She wasn't here yesterday. This group formed out of the Sunday group from the 6 Hour March, as she put it. And today she was one of the leaders, organizers on the megaphone, leading chants, keeping morale up. And as you heard from her, morale is paramount to her. Not morale, safety is paramount to her and her group. And this is definitely something that has organically grown out of the end of other protests, as I mentioned before. The end of the protest is crucial for protest organizers and protesters to network, organize, build communication networks, supply lines, all that type of stuff. And there's not a better way to do it other than talking with the other people that are here out there with you, because they clearly share the same message. So it's easier to get everybody on board. I'm gonna try and get this last gentleman over here. He had an interesting story.
All because I found this shit I couldn't, like...
Excuse me, sir. I'm with Central Track right now. I'm live. Do you mind answering some questions? Go ahead and can you introduce yourself for me, man?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Perales.
I want to cut to the point because I heard your story at the intersection of Main and Akron. I'd like you to just reiterate it for the people out here who might not have heard it.
Okay. So about mid-March, when all of the lockdowns got serious and everything, I actually ended up contracting COVID-19, and I was suspended from my job without pay. I'm an Uber driver. I wasn't able to pay for my room, and I ended up getting evicted because my landlord, they lied to the cops saying that I wasn't paying rent. I was a day late. On rent, and he lied to the cops. And I tried to tell the cops, but they're like, I'm supposed to go through the eviction process. The courts are suspended right now. You guys shouldn't be evicting anybody right now. And they did not want to hear it. So they dragged me out of my home. I was going through a mental health crisis. I was taken in a cop car to a mental health hospital. They did perceive me as a threat. They did threaten to shoot me because I kept putting my hands in my pockets, and it was a nervous tick. I was going through a panic attack.
Yeah. How long ago was that now?
And that was 2 months ago.
Where have you been since that all happened?
I've been sleeping in a car. Not my car, a car.
Geez, man, that's how. While you've been going through your own trials and tribulations, what has brought you out here to protest and march? It seems you've been going through a lot. What's pulled you out?
For years, I've always been anti-cop, like completely. Ever since I went through my mental health journey, I've had multiple instances where the cops were called because I was going through suicidal episodes.
Yeah.
I had multiple mental health crises over the years, just going through personal things, and every time almost every time the cops were called, and we don't need that shit. We don't need guys with guns trained like fucking warriors to deal with somebody's mental health.
So you're saying that the mental health crises in this country are exacerbated by police brutality, or just cops in general?
No, it's absolutely just cops in general, because they exist to protect property, not lives. They're there to protect the property of your landlord, the property of the people who live in those high-rise buildings downtown. Did you know, I was here the first night. We passed by the Omni Hotel and they fucking tear gassed us, and we were peaceful. I got shot in the back and the arm.
So you got shot right there?
Yeah. It's worse on my back.
That's a civilian.
And they shot at us. We weren't doing fucking anything. But we go through the residential area by the houses. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about me or you.
So I see you've got a bunch of photography gear on you, man. Is this something you were pursuing before the eviction, or is this something new?
I was always really into the instant photography stuff, like the Polaroids.
Sure.
Like those cheap 35mm cameras. After I got evicted, I was having a bunch of my clothes. I lost it. So I went to a Goodwill, and this bag full of like lenses, this T6i camera, like this L series lens, all of this for $20 at a Goodwill.
What?
And now I'm out here trying to go back to school to take photography classes. I'm a complete amateur at this stuff.
But you sort of just jumped into it.
I just jumped into it. I did research. I learned what I could off of places like YouTube and stuff.
Sure.
And now I'm out here shoving cameras in cops' faces so that when they shoot a kid and they lose his eye, he loses his eye, they're gonna be held fucking accountable.
What's something that's given you hope or inspired you so far in the protests you've been to?
The unity.
Elaborate on that, please.
Before all of this, I was going through a suicidal episode. I was going through a hard time. It's just the world just isn't fair. So many people are unemployed. They're losing everything, and I'm just one of those people getting lost in the crowd, and I felt lonely. Then I came out here the first night, and everybody was, we had medics out here giving everybody water, making sure everyone was hydrated, taken care of. They were giving out sunscreen, they were doing all this stuff, and I was just, wow, like none of you guys know each other, and you're just out here for the same cause and helping each other out. And I was already pretty mad, pretty discontent about the state of affairs when it came to police brutality.
Sure.
Things like, Botham Jean, Breonna Taylor. But I didn't realize that so many people felt the same way that I did. I thought this was just going to be, oh God, we're going to come out here, we're going to protest, and don't get me wrong, I love being here and everything, but I just really hope something changes this time. And now we're 2 weeks in, and it's still as strong as ever. 2 weeks in, and they're talking about, defund. Actually, in Minnesota, they're talking about defunding the police, like legitimately talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. Like, we are doing so much just by being out here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to keep being out here until our demands are met.
Yeah. Lastly, is there anything you'd like to leave for the city of Dallas? And if you want to put out, somewhere where people can reach out to you, check out your photography or whatnot. So reintroduce yourself. Tell me a place where people can reach out, check out your photography or whatnot, and something you'd like to leave for the people of Dallas.
Okay. Yeah. So again, my name is Jonathan Perales. I have an Instagram. It's The Promise Man, ThePromiseMan.
Okay. And what would you like to leave for the people of Dallas?
Guys, stop criminalizing homelessness. Please. I'm 26 years old, but honestly, I'm a kid. Look at me, I'm harmless. Like, you don't need the cops to exacerbate the homeless crisis. You don't need people like me or anybody really out in the streets. Please listen to what we're saying. You know, we have actual plans. We're talking about, you know, getting social workers to deal with homeless people and the mental health crisis, instead of guys literally trained like warriors to perceive us as threats from the get-go to deal with the homeless crisis. Please listen to us. Please.
All right, man. Thank you for your time. Very powerful story, guys. As you heard, the gentleman was evicted after contracting COVID, lost the majority of his stuff, and then found that camera in that camera bag and a Goodwill for 20 bucks, and has been out here ever since documenting, so that way things don't happen to other people that can happen to him. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up fairly soon. I hope you've gotten to hear some good, interesting stories tonight from people on the ground, see inside deal, hear some powerful, moving words by people speaking, and some first-hand personal testimony. My name is Davey J. I'm here for Central Track. If you enjoy Central Track, support and enjoy the content, then I would advise you to check out Central Track Patreon and support us. We'll be out here as much as we can. I know I will be. I appreciate anybody who's been watching today, anybody who supported. Can't see any of the comments, so I appreciate you guys for all the support and the love. I'm going to sign off for now. My name is Davey J. Thank you very much, guys. Love y'all.